So today, some of the discussion has to do with the authenticity of data. How authentic is Wikipedia, for example, which is usually, according to many studies, one of the key sources that people go to. And then when you go deeper into Wikipedia and you realize who is writing this, you realize how much money is being invested, particularly on more political entries, to make sure that a particular narrative is there. When I was yesterday with Dr. Ali Rashid al-Nuaimi, he was speaking with us about why he was asked after October 7 to go and speak to every school principal in this country and give them some directives and guidelines of how to speak about narratives, to make sure that radical narratives would not again penetrate the educational system. When we are looking on the internet, and unfortunately, when it comes to the more sensitive issues involving the Middle East, Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the conflicts that we face now, Iran, we have seen, we have seen for quite some time, a very significant, what we call sort of narrative war. AI is a very important tool in this regard. Part of if you're looking at the two broad routes that you need to tackle this. So part of it, let's do the inductive and the deductive. On the inductive, it has to do with how you handle your family, your school, and how do you train people to understand the challenge. How do you get people to sort of, wait a minute, before you believe everything that gets to you, try to find it. There are different applications and buttons that were developed to say, is this authentic or not? There's different engines that try to use, by the way, some of AI, like, can you give me some more data on this? Can you check this? So with a little bit of training, most people can understand that degrees of complexity. But on the other hand, when you're seeing that there are either state-sponsored or different efforts that has vested interest, that it tries to bring lack of authenticity, try to subvert narratives, push narratives that we understand that are narratives that supports radicalization and polarization. There are some ways to tackle them, both on the positive, saying, here is an alternative narrative that may work better, but also when you understand that they're there, we need to figure out how to tackle them, how to tackle the servers, how to get the networks to be more accountable, how much hate is appropriate, when is the thin balance between criticism, legitimate criticism, and between hate and attempts to radicalize people. Of course, when you write these things, when you write the ethical codes for the New York Times or for other medias, there's years of debate and struggle. It's the same here. But you got to work on it both from the school and the education and the training and the relevant technology, but also on the level of enforcement when it comes to legislation, when it comes to the legal framework that may enable you to hold some liability to those who create and disseminate information. Yeah.
For this conference. It's a more of this, I'm not sure it's a question, it's like a, let's say, discussion. So what you have explained, meaning that we have everything else prevented. Now, the AI and everything was developed so fast that there is so many generations involved in that we cannot prevent them. My father would not understand what I'm explaining to him in terms of making a safeguard for him and so on. So what do you think, let's say now, the 0.0, we can plan what is happening in the future. In this model, could we include as well the AI engineers, developers, DevOps, who would be able to, in the preparation of the platforms, adjust the features, so not only the algorithm, which is happening later, but adjust the feature for the safety. So when you want to, let's say, post something on the platform, not where the push content, but is this content can be uploaded at all, where it could be shared, Now, for example, each platform have a different policy for your privacy, and you will need to sit and investigate each of them and find which button to switch off. I just recently found out that actually Facebook have a right using something which is called roll camera. So actually everything that is on your phone, even if you don't post it, the Facebook by Meta have a right to access it on your phone and do whatever it wants with that. And it's just one platform out of 15. So that's why I'm curious if you have a question or just a discussion, how much the developing part for the future and adjusting these platforms would have an influence on supporting this.
Look, it's like other philosophical technology discussions. Technology and any development can be used in more than one way. You can design it to build, and you can design it to destroy. You can build a technology that enables to build faster, cheaper, get buildings up that are printed in 3D printers and get them up and running. We're now looking at models like this when it comes to refugee crisis, when it comes to efforts to rebuild places like Gaza or Syria or Lebanon. But you can also build a very cheap technology that can take a drone and destroy this, whatever you've built, in about 2 or 3 minutes. So the issue on AI here is not actually the technological ability. That exists. The issue is how you use it. And really the awareness of how do we, as policy people, as educators, as family network people, as people sometime who are working on museums, how do you make sure that we are understanding the danger and becoming more aware and cognizant of it? When it comes to the issue of radicalization and polarization, again, there's a cost for it. All data broadly shows that there are very few limits. Again, if you take some of the data that I've showed at the very beginning, and you realize that a day, in an average day, about half of it, a child by the age of 13 is going to spend on a screen. For most of us, aside of glasses and eyes, it's an issue by itself, because as adults, we're getting too much of it. But the danger when it comes to the formative years, which was the topic that was offered here for discussion, is that it can certainly help further mitigate the process of polarizations, of radicalization. And therefore, it's not about the algorithm itself. It's about understanding this and figuring out how to look. When I know that Grokopedia, that attempts to do all of this with AI as an alternative in a way to Wikipedia, now offers a way when you go on X, you can press a button, and then it gives you a whole section that seeks to give context and understand whether something is true or not true, as AI could do. Again, if you trust it, and if you don't trust it, just like in the EU, you can ban it. The tools can be used in more than one way. And I'm not here to say that this particular tool is better than another tool. It's mostly about how do we try to put a conceptualization on the whole problem and trying to figure out what are the directions that are needed, that we need solutions in.